If you had to put a group of gorillas up against every single card in Clash Royale combined, just how many gorillas would it take to beat these cards? Well, that is what I will be determining today in my video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Will the Reaper channel. And today I will be determining just how many gorillas it would realistically take to beat every single card in Clash Royale. So the rules, right? The cards and the gorillas will be fighting in a huge coliseum, and all the cards will be together at once, including spells. They're all grouped together, right? It's not like you can place one at a time. It's just all at once, right? To make things simple. And to make things fair for the gorillas, there's going to be a roof over this coliseum, so that way flying units can't just go up to the sky and forever hurt the gorillas. And to also make things fair and simple, I'm going to be excluding Evos and Heroes because realistically, the Evo Electro Dragon would probably go infinite in this battle. And the three cards I excluded are the Elixir Collector, because it doesn't do anything, right? You can only put down one of each card, and that's it. You can't put down more than one card for each card. So I kind of just sit there and do nothing. And then Clone and Mirror are dependent on what you put it on, right? So we just gotta make things simple. So to kind of help us gauge how many gorillas it would take, I chopped up each card into three categories. Cannon fodder, right? Just units to basically distract a gorilla. Spells that would deal no damage, or units that basically deal no damage. And then cards that would require probably like several gorillas to beat. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get down to it. Skeletons are cannon fodder. They could deal a little bit of damage if they place their knives correctly, but they're getting one shot by the gorillas. The bomber stays in the back, right? He's basically throwing a grenade. The bomber could deal a lot of damage if he's protected properly. So that's something you'd have to worry about. If he's in the back, you could probably take out like 10 gorillas or something like that before the horde just swarms all of them. Goblins are cannon fodder. Spear goblins could probably do massive damage. All these ranged units are going to probably do a lot of damage. So if each spear goblin, right, if just one of them could, pierce the head of a gorilla, it's game over for the gorilla. So if you have three of them all throwing spears at gorillas, it would be a lot of damage. Sap spells no damage. I mean, okay, obviously it does, some damage, but it's not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. Especially if they're all put down at the same time, it would not do anything at the start. Knight's just cannon fodder. I mean, he might be able to hit one gorilla, in the head, and then just get pummeled to death. But he has the armor, which is good. Archers would probably deal massive damage, right? If they have really strong bows and arrows, right? Like steel arrows or something, and just pierce it, be a lot of damage. Minions are ranged, so it would help. But I feel like they might not do as much damage. I'm gonna say they're probably a bit of cannon fodder, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Arrows would probably not do a lot of damage. If the gorillas cover their head or something, I'm sure they would be fine. Cannon would do a lot of damage. Cannon would realistically take out a gorilla every single time the cannon went off. Also buildings have infinite life, to make things fair, right? Not that they have infinite life, but they don't deteriorate. So yeah, the cannon would do massive damage. The Tesla would also deal massive damage, shocking the gorillas over time. And that could be a problem. Mortar could honestly deal massive damage, right? If the mortar throws gigantic grenades at a gorilla, it'd be a huge problem. Barbarians are basically just cannon fodder. It's just five large humans with swords. They'd probably get pummeled a lot. Minion horde. Now, minion horde, I'm going to put it next to minions, right? So there'd be 9 minions in total, all throwing stuff, which together would do massive damage, but each card itself is kind of just like cannon fodder. Tombstone is basically cannon fodder. Musketeer could do massive damage, right? If she gets one shot, one kill, and she's constantly loading the gun, it would be insane. Valkyrie is basically cannon fodder. Hog Rider is basically cannon fodder. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A would probably be able to take out like 2 gorillas and then just get overpowered. But the Mini P.E.K.K.A is made of metal, so it'd take a long time for the gorillas to actually like beat the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Still, that's kind of cannon fodder. Fireball would deal only a good amount of damage, but it would deal like it could possibly kill and set a bunch of gorillas on fire. But then again, it just kind of fizzles away. Bomb tower could deal massive damage if the bombs land on the gorilla's heads. Right, it's basically a grenade to the head that would be very lethal. Goblin Hud's basically cannon fodder. Giant could deal massive damage if he stomps or punches like to the ground quickly. But giants are pretty slow, so that would be a bit of a problem. Wizards would deal massive damage. A wizard would deal massive damage. But yeah, he could just set them on fire. Inferno Tower could really deal massive damage, right? Especially if the tower charges up. It could basically one-shot a lot of gorillas. Rocket would deal massive damage, but then it would just fizzle, right? Okay, actually, to make things easier, let me do massive, but fades away. Because again, the card's only placed down once, so there we go. So like for example, the rocket would probably take out like 7 gorillas, but then no more rocket the rest of the match, right? Barb Hut's cannon fodder. Rage spell. It wouldn't deal massive damage to the gorillas themselves, but it would deal like a lot of damage in the sense that if it amplifies certain units, right, it's going to be a huge problem for the gorillas. But then obviously it just fades away after that. Skeleton Army's cannon fodder. Goblin Barrel's cannon fodder. Baby Dragon. I'm also going to say is kind of cannon fodder because I feel like the Baby Dragon fireballs would not be that strong. So freeze spell. I'm gonna say no. Okay, the freeze spell would stun gorillas for like 3 seconds, right? Which could be good, but then after that just fades away. So it's not really gonna do a whole lot, right? Witches or just a witch, right? So witch would summon 4 skeletons. Witch is cannon fodder, right? Or at least she summons cannon fodder. Prince, I feel like the prince would be able to get 1 good kill with its lance, right? It jousts and hits one of the gorillas. And then after that, it like 3 gorillas take it down. It's game over. So I'm also gonna say it's kind of cannon fodder, right? Because it's really just 1 gorilla that would get taken out, and then that's it. Balloon could deal lots of damage. Giant skeleton could deal lots of damage, because it's a giant, so you could just be punching at them, right? And then obviously when the giant skeleton dies, it'll drop a massive bomb that could probably take out like 10 gorillas. Lightning spell would deal massive damage, but that would fade away. But here's the thing though. Actually, I'm gonna put it in note because realistically, a lightning strike would not kill a gorilla. Even though it's a powerful lightning strike, it would not be able to kill it. So at that point, it would just deal like little to no damage. Hold on, that's not fair. Hold on, little to no damage. There we go. Because, I mean, it does do damage. It's not like the gorillas are invulnerable. It would do damage, but not a whole lot to be worried about. Expo. If the Expo is very accurate and it hits a bunch of gorillas in the head, it would be massive damage. P.E.K.K.A. Well, I kind of underestimated P.E.K.K.A. So P.E.K.K.A. is apparently like 7,000 pounds, right? It has a gigantic sword. P.E.K.K.A. could do massive damage. I'm going to say that she's actually more like cannon fodder, because having to break 7,000 pounds of armor and steel is going to be a lot. Right? Obviously, if there's 5 gorillas, right, when they rush a P.E.K.K.A. and there's 5 gorillas, the P.E.K.K.A. can't do much, but still, breaking and beating 7,000 pounds of steel is insane. Same thing with the golem. After like 7 gorillas go on top of it, it's game over, but until then, like that's an impenetrable wall of stone. Royal Giant would deal massive damage. He just has a gigantic cannon. You know, he can stomp on gorillas and also have a cannon. Three Musketeers. I mean, if one Musketeer could deal lots of damage, the three Musketeers could deal lots of damage. Dark Prince, same thing as the regular Prince. Poison Spell. Again, I don't know a gorilla's respiratory system. I'd say probably like suffocate a few of them, and then when it fades away, they'd be okay again. Princess would shoot flaming arrows, so she could do a lot of damage if she hits the gorillas in the head properly. Ice Wizard's basically cannon fodder. He would slow some of the gorillas down, which is good, but then after that, it's game over. Fire Spirit is basically cannon fodder. I mean, little to no damage, and then just fades away after that. Furnace, I say, could probably deal massive damage, right? If a Fire Spirit sets a gorilla on fire, right, and all the fur, you know, causes the gorilla to go on in flames, right? Having to constantly spawn them could be good. Guards are cannon fodder. Miner is cannon fodder. Sparky could deal massive. A Sparky, I also underestimated Sparky in my last video. Sparky with one shot could probably take out like 2 to 3 gorillas. As long as Sparky keeps its distance. Lawman's cannon fodder would not be able to deal much. Ice Spirit is cannon fodder. Bowler could deal massive damage if he throws the rocks instead of like just bowls them. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like a gorilla might be stronger than that. I feel like a gorilla could just take the bowling ball and just, you know, the rock, and that's it. Log would. Okay, so if the log was like gigantic, right? Let's say it's a huge log. You probably take out a few of them and then fade away. Yeah. Lumberjack. Okay, so Lumberjack would spill rage everywhere temporarily, which make a lot of the melee units like huge, and fast and strong. Lumberjack himself, I don't know. I'd say just for the rage, he could probably deal massive damage. Cannon fodder for Snow Golem. Mega Minion, I guess would also be kind of like cannon fodder. I know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I feel like the minions might deal massive damage. I could be wrong. Inferno Dragon, just like the Inferno Tower, if it charges up, it is melting the gorillas. Graveyard Spell, basically little to no damage. I mean, it'd be a good distraction for like 2 seconds, and then once the 100 gorillas all go like this on the on the skeletons, it's over. Elite Barbarians is cannon fodder. Tornado would deal little to no damage, right? I mean, it can knock them around each other, but I mean, if you have like 100 plus gorillas, right, it would just kind of pull them away, and that's it. Electro Wizard's cannon fodder. Goblin Gang is cannon. Well, Goblin Gang, if Spear Goblins can deal massive damage, then Goblin Gang has Spear Goblins that would deal massive damage. Dark Goblin, I mean, the darts probably won't do a whole lot. So I'm going to say the Dark Goblin's a bit of cannon fodder. Battering Ram, realistically, that Ram is not making past one gorilla. Like, good luck. That's cannon fodder straight up. Executioner, if the Executioner can hit, you know, the gorilla's throat or something like that, it could deal massive damage. And if the Executioner could get a line of gorillas, then that would be great. But I don't know how the Executioner have to pull that off, so that's a little bit like to be decided kind of thing. That's our cannon fodder. Heal Spirits cannon fodder. Bandits cannon fodder. Night Witches cannon fodder. Skeleton Barrels cannon fodder. Flying Machine is massive damage if it hits a gorilla in the head properly. Deal lots of damage. Cannon Cart would deal massive damage. Mega Knight with the jump could deal a lot of damage. But then honestly, after that, like 3 gorillas would be destroying it. So it would kind of be cannon fodder. Again, in a one-on-one situation, which I have in my last video, right? A Mega Knight would definitely beat, or well, I said that it'd take 2 Mega Knights to be a gorilla, but the point I'm trying to say is that like it's not like it's a one-on-one, right? After the Mega Knight jumps and hits like 2 gorillas, like there's 10 of them, and they would just rip off the armor and it's game over. So Mega Knight would just be cannon fodder. Zappies would be cannon fodder. They don't really do a lot of damage. Bar Barrels, cannon fodder. Hunter could deal massive damage, right? It's a huge shotgun. If he's accurate, he could probably take out 1, even 2 at a time. Royal Ghost is cannon fodder. Because the second he puts his sword on a gorilla, they're all just gonna jump him and it's over. Magic Archer. Okay, so Magic Archer with its piercing ability, if it can hit a gorilla in the head, right, hit its brain, knock it out, and then it could pierce multiple gorillas, it could be a huge, huge problem. Rascals are cannon fodder. Snowball does basically no damage. Where Recruits is cannon fodder. They have a lot of armor. Royal Hogs would be cannon fodder. Royal Giant, Goblin Giant, right? The two goblins on the back, right, throwing spears down could be massive. Could take out like maybe 5, 6 gorillas. Electro Dragon. I feel like Electro Dragon might just be cannon fodder. Because he would stun and hit 3 gorillas, but once they jump up and pull him down, it's over. Ramrar is cannon fodder. Wall Breakers are cannon fodder. Earthquake would deal little no damage. Goblin Cage is cannon fodder. Fisherman's cannon fodder. Elixir Golem. I don't know how the Elixir Golem operates. I feel like that there's like 10 gorillas rushing the Elixir Golem. They could kind of just like rip the elixir out. I don't really know how the physics would work, but I would assume that it kind of just be cannon fodder. I mean, maybe the Elixir Golem beats like 1 or 2 gorillas, and after that they're rushing it. Battle Healer. I mean, Battle Healer, if it goes up against a gorilla, it's getting one shot. It would not, I mean, it could heal the Elixir Golem or something, but if the second the gorilla touches you, it's basically game over. Firecracker could deal massive damage, right? Especially the shrapnel hits like the heads of the other gorillas, right? Of the adjacent gorillas. So could do massive damage. World Delivery. Let's say a huge crate would drop on the heads of like 4 gorillas, and then no, it's not gonna do much. Skeleton Dragons probably won't do much. Electro Spirits cannon fodder. Electro Giant could deal massive damage, especially if it stuns all the gorillas as it's punching down. Could deal massive damage. Mother Witch. Now Mother Witch could turn gorillas into hogs, right? But if you have an army of gorillas, they're probably just gonna go like this, right? Boom, onto the hog and immediately kill it. So Mother Witch is kind of just like cannon fodder for that. Goblin Drill. I mean, the drill itself would deal a lot of damage, but then after that, it's game over. So I'm gonna say it's basically cannon fodder. Royal, what's it called? Golden Knights, cannon fodder. Archer Queen could deal massive damage, especially if they go to her and she uses her ability. She get like another like 10 kills off of that. Skeleton King's cannon fodder. Mighty Miner is cannon fodder. His ability, the bomb ability, would deal a lot of damage, but that's it. Phoenix would be cannon fodder. Monk would be cannon fodder. Little Prince could deal massive damage. And then especially if the gorilla's about to swarm the Little Prince, he could do the guard ability, which would immediately get overpowered. I don't even think the guard would get through, but again, if the Little Prince is in place and he's shooting like 50 arrows a second or something, that could be lethal. Void Spell, since there's so many of them, they're so strong, it would realistically not do anything. Goblin Berserker, I mean, to throw firecrackers, I don't know how realistically good that would be against gorillas. I'm going to say he's also kind of cannon fodder. Goblin Curse, I mean, okay, so gorillas would take massive damage a little bit. They would take double the damage, and then they would turn into goblins. But then after a little bit, it just fades away. So I'm going to say realistically just doesn't do anything. Goblin Machine, the rocket could one-shot a gorilla probably if it hits him in the head. So if it keeps its distance, the Goblin Machine could do well. Suspicious Bushes, cannon fodder. Goblin Stein would probably just be cannon fodder. Even with the ability, it's just not going to do much. Because again, Goblin Stein's monster is huge, but it's nowhere near as big as like a giant, you know? It might be able to beat a gorilla in a 1v1, but if 2 gorillas are against it, it's over. Rune Giant with that giant hammer. I mean, let's just say she's not passive, right? So instead of boosting, she actually hits things. That hammer could be huge. But actually, I think it's really just cannon fodder. Berserker, you're going down 2 seconds. Boss Bandit. I mean, Boss Bandit could use this ability maybe like 3 times per gorilla. And then what's going to happen when right after the ability, a gorilla comes up and grabs her? Yeah, like, I get her ability is strong, but it's not enough to kill a gorilla, like, in one shot. It would take, like, a few shots. Spirit Empress, both of them are basically cannon fodder. I don't know how strong her little beams are when she's riding the dragon, but I can assume not a lot. And she has to get somewhat close to do it, so again, the girls could just pull her down, and that's it. Vine spell, not deal a lot. Now, these tower troops, instead of them being in a tower, they'd be on the ground. So Princess, if she's good with aiming, she'd deal a lot. Cannier would deal a lot of damage. Dagger Duchess would be cannon fire. The daggers might not do anything. And then, of course, the Royal Chef would not deal much. Okay, so now that we have kind of like a basis, right, of sorting out all these cards, let's take a realistic look. So the second all these cards spawn, right, and all these gorillas spawn, the rocket, fireball, right, all these spells would immediately hit the battlefield. So rocket would take out 7. Okay, so let's just seven from the rocket, right, and maybe 2 more from the fireball. Right, if the rocket damage is already on the gorillas and the fireball on top and the log, right, that could be like 9 to 12 gorillas in total, right, with the log. So let's just go 9 to 12 so far, right? So now we have all these little spells that deal damage. So at the same time, right, if they're all put down at the same time, lightning, poison, vines, void, earthquake, that's like another, that if they all get put down, right, on like the second the battle starts, that could probably take out all these cards combined 5 more gorillas, 4 to 5 more gorillas. So let's go, let's be generous, say you could take out 5 more gorillas. That's 14 to 17 cards right off the bat just from spells, right? Now the rage spell would hit all these melee units. That would probably be like giant, giant goblins. Who'd be the lethal people? Giant, electro giant, giant skeleton. Okay, so now you have to think of it like this, right? All the range units are going to be in the back, and all the melee units are going to be in the front. So who would be in the front now? We'd have Royal Giant, Giant, Lumberjack, Giant Skeleton, Electro Giant, Goblin Giant. Let's see, any more massive damage? Nope. And then for no damage, you'd have all these guys, Barbarians, Elite Barbarians, Valkyrie, Mini P.E.K.K.A., Skeleton Army, Guards, technically Fire Spirit, Minor, Prince, Dark Prince, P.E.K.K.A., Golem, Mega Knight, Bandit, Ice Golem or Snow Golem, whatever you say, Battering Ram, Royal Hogs, Royal Recruits, Rascals, Royal Ghost, Battle Healer, Elixir Golem, Fisherman, Wall Breakers, Goblin Cage. Technically, the Barbarian, after it spawns, would be melee damage, right? And technically, same thing with the Barrel. Let's see. Are there any Electro Spirit, Golden Knight, Skeleton King, Mighty Miner, Phoenix, Monk, Rune Giant, Goblinstein, Berserker. What's going on? Boss Bandit. I think Spirit Empress is somewhat ranged. And Suspicious Bush. So these are all the melee units that would first be put out the second the battle spawns. So, right off the bat, Royal Giant, Giant, Lumberjack, Skeleton Giant, or Giant Skeleton, Electro Giant, Goblin Giant, all these cards would be raged, right? And these are the lethal guys. So these are the cards that would be raged. Those alone, right, just off the start of the battle, along with like these shorter range units such as like Valkyrie and Skeletons. Oh, sorry, Royal Giant's a ranged unit. My bad, that was so stupid of me. And also Goblin Machine is a melee unit. So you have all these cards, right? So let's see. Just off the top row alone, right? A giant could probably take out 3 gorillas. A lumberjack could probably might take out 1 gorilla. I guess if it's distracted, but it's really the rage that the Lumberjack drops that would boost it. And I think off the boost alone, right, the Lumberjack dies and the Rage boost, I think you get another 2 kills up. So 2 to 3 from the Lumberjack. Let's go with 2. Let's go 3 Gorillas from the Giant, right? If he's punching, right, and kicking. Let's go 7 from the Giant Skeleton. Hold on. So we have 7. Okay, so we have 24 to 27. Giant's another 3. What? Giant is another 3. Electro Giant would probably take out another 3 as well. Maybe 4 or 5, because the second the gorillas try to like go on him, they get shocked. But maybe that pisses him off. So let's go with 5. So 35. So 30 to 35. Or 32 to 35, sorry. Alright. Hog Rider probably take out one of them and then just get immediately destroyed. Skeletons. Goblins aren't doing anything. Knight might be able to take out 1 and then that's it. Elite Barbs and Barbarians. Let's just put them together. They might be able to take out like 2 gorillas, right? So being generous. Valkyrie. She might be able to take out 1, right, with that huge axe. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A. could probably take out like 2 of them. And then they tackle them and it's game over. Skeleton Armor's not doing anything. Guards, Fire Spirit, Miner's not doing anything. Prince and Dark Prince could take out probably 1 of each and then that's it. So 41. So we're currently at 41 to 44 gorillas right now. P.E.K.K.A. could probably take out like 3 gorillas. And same thing with regular Golem and Mega Knight. So I'm gonna say P.E.K.K.A., Golem, and Mega Knight would all be able to take out 3 gorillas each before eventually just getting swarmed. So that's 9. So now we're at 51 to 54. Bandit would not take out anything. Snow Golem wouldn't take out anything. Battering Ram, Hogs. I mean, together they might do something. So I'd say the 4 of those together might be able to take out like 2 gorillas, right? Royal Recruits might be able to take out 2 gorillas. If they're distracted. There we go. Whoop. Oh, this is there we go. Rascals are not doing anything. Royal Ghost is not. Royal Ghost might be able to take out 1. So, Battle Healer. Battle Healers might be able to take out 1. Just 1 swing and that's it. Elixir Golem might be able to take out like 2. And then that's it. Fisherman is not doing anything, but Wall Breakers, when they explode, they might be able to take out like 2 gorillas. So let's go 60. It's now currently at 61 to 64 gorillas that we're going to need. Goblin Cage is not doing anything. And I think the gorilla can one-shot the goblin realistically. Bar Barrel's not going to do anything. Goblin Barrel, Electro Spear. But the 4 of them together, right? The 4 of them together, if you put both the Goblin Barrel and the Bar Barrel together, I don't know. It might be, let's just say that Barbarian Barrel and Goblin Barrel and Electro Spirit, let's say you could probably take out like 2 when stacked together. Golden Knight's Dash might do something if you could put the sword on the right spot. Same thing with the Skeleton King and the Mighty Miner, right? They can put their drills and clubs in the right spot. Let's say the 3 of those, right? Especially if they're fighting together. Let's say that those 3 guys together can take out 6 gorillas before it's too late. If the Skeleton King uses ability and then the gorillas are all distracted, they could just start going to work. Phoenix is not doing anything. Monk's probably not doing anything. I mean, if the Monk can deflect like massive rockets and stuff, who knows how strong he is, but just off his base form or whatever, yeah, so I don't know, maybe the Monk could take out like 1 gorilla. We gotta see. Rune Giant could probably take out like 1 gorilla. 71 to 74. Goblin Stein might be able to take out another gorilla. Berserker's not doing anything. Boss Bandit. Okay, so Boss Bandit would be able to take out a lot. Not a lot. Actually, who am I kidding? She might be able to take out 1 if she's lucky. She keeps spamming that ability. Suspicious Bush. So the goblins inside there do a lot of damage. Um, so the other units are distracting the gorilla, then they can make their move. But the problem is that in order for the goblins to get out of the bush, they have to be hit. By the time a gorilla touches the bush, they're kind of over. Let's say they might be able to take out one gorilla, if lucky. Minions and minion horde. While they would be good cannon fodder, I think 9 minions could probably take out like 18 gorillas if they're well protected, which I guess would be massive damage, but don't hate me. I make mistakes, I'm human. Tombstone's not gonna do anything. Now the Goblin Hut would spawn spear goblins, right? And those spear goblins could do a lot of damage. But they have to be close to the gorillas. So maybe let's just say the goblins in the Goblin Hut could take out 3 gorillas before it's too late. Barb Hut might not do anything. Maybe the barbarians take out like 1 gorilla, and then the gorillas just swarm the Barb Hut. That's it. Baby Dragon, maybe 1. Yeah. Witch is basically. I don't think Witch would be able to do much, if I'm being honest. Lava Hound. I mean, the lava pups could be lethal, right? It made the Lava Hound just spews lava everywhere. Take like I don't know. The Witch and the Lava Hound probably won't do much, but they might be able to take out like 2 together. Ice Wizard's not going to do much. He's definitely a support unit. Same thing with Ice Spirit. Bowler though might be able to take out like 3 of them, I guess. Mega Minion might be able to one-shot gorillas. So maybe before the horde takes him away, he could probably take out like 3. Let's go 4 gorillas. So 109, so 106 to 109. So currently, right now, we need 106 gorillas to 109 gorillas. Yeah. Electro Wizard's not going to do much. Dark Goblin, both of them together, though, might be a lethal combo. Let's say they could both take out 3 gorillas when they're placed together. Oh, there we go. Bat's Heal Spirit's not going to do anything. Does not matter. They will just not do anything. Night Witch, I mean, the Night Witch's stabbing might take out 1 gorilla. And then that's it. Skeleton Barrel's not going to do anything. Zappies could stun the gorillas, so they might be like a good support unit. I don't know. Electro Dragon. So you have Zappies and the Electro Dragon, right? They might be able to help take out like 2 gorillas before their inevitable demise. Ram Rider might be able to take out 1 with the slingshot. Skeleton Dragons might be able to take out like 2 again before their inevitable demise. These silverback gorillas have enough force to crush over 2,500 pounds, which is enough to break bones. So that's what Skeleton Dragons would be done for. Mother Witch, I don't think Mother Witch is gonna get a kill. Maybe 1, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if her staff deals enough damage. The Goblin Drill. The Drill might actually hurt a few gorillas, but I don't think it'd actually kill them. Goblin Berserker. The explosion damage would be a lot. So let's say for the Goblin Drill and Goblin Berserker, they could take out another 2 gorillas. So 117 or 119 gorillas so far. Or, what is it? There we go. 116, 119 gorillas. Unless I counted wrong, which in that case, I apologize. Spirit Empress, both riding dragon and regular. They might be able to take out like 2 gorillas. And then the Dagger Duchess and Royal Chef realistically aren't going to do much. Maybe they could take out 2 more. So we currently have 120 to 123 just off of cannon fodder, little to no damage, massive but fades away. And I believe off of the first few melee units, Electro Giant, Skeleton Giant, Lumberjack, who enrages things, Giant, and Goblin Giant before it's too late. So think about 120 massive silverback gorillas going up against the entire cannon fodder selection, little to no damage selection, massive but fades away selection, and then the first 5 melee units, right? Or 6, including a goblin machine. I'd say 120 gorillas would be fair for that, I'd say. But now we have to deal with the ranged units, who add a huge layer of complexity to this. So the bomber would basically throw grenades. If the gorillas are distracted well enough, right, the bomber has to be somewhat close. But let's say the bomber could take out 5 gorillas before the inevitable demise. A royal giant, it's a huge cannon that could probably one-shot gorillas, right? And plus, he can also stomp or punch a gorilla if they get too close to him. He has very good range, though. So I'm going to say the royal giant is able to take out 20 of these bad boys before they swarm him, because his range is so big. He can just snipe from afar. Goblin gang and spear goblins. Okay, well, the knife goblins would be gone, but you'd basically have 6 spear goblins from these 2 cards. And if each one of them can successfully hit the head of a gorilla and pierce his skull with a spear, then that could be a lot of damage. So I'm going to say they could take out 18 in total before they inevitably get rushed. So that's 166 and 106. So right now we need 163 to 166 gorillas. Archers could take down a bunch of gorillas. Maybe they could take down 10 in total, because they do have to be somewhat close. Cannon has to be somewhat close. It's basically one shot, one kill, and maybe you could knock back. Honestly, it'd be able to knock back a lot of gorillas, which would be good. I'm also going to say it would take out 10 gorillas. Tesla might be able to take out 4. But again, because it's ranged, right, it has a better chance. Mortar has massive range, and it's basically a gigantic bomb, right? So it could probably take out 1 gorilla every time it goes off. With its range, right, let's say by the time the gorillas are done getting through all these melee units, the mortar could probably take on 20. Probably take out 20 gorillas before they inevitably rush the mortar. Musketeer, very fast rate of fire, and she can probably one-shot, one kill. So given her rate of fire and her range, she can probably take out 15 gorillas. Bomb tower, I mean, you have to be close to the bomb tower. I'd say the bomb tower could probably take out 4 gorillas before they climb up there and it's game over. Wizard would set the gorillas on fire. But he'd probably have to go after multiple gorillas instead of just going after one gorilla, right? If he sets a gorilla on fire, goes after another gorilla, sets it on fire, he could deal a lot of damage. I'm gonna say he probably can get rid of 3 gorillas. Inferno. Okay, if the Inferno Tower is able to charge up in time, it will deal massive damage. The problem is they have to be somewhat close to that Inferno Tower, for it to do damage. And if there's if there's already 220 gorillas getting rushed, they're inevitably going to swarm it. Maybe if the Ice Wizard's right next to the Inferno Tower and it's slowing all the gorillas down, I'm gonna say realistically that Inferno Tower is probably getting off 30 units. Yeah. I'm going to say it gets off 30 units, right? If it goes from afar, and then once it charges up, it's just going bing, 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 bing. It has more range than Inferno Dragon, so to just pop that out of the way, I'm going to say the Inferno Dragon, if the girls are distracted, might be able to get off 12 before they reach for it because his range is not the best. Balloon. Okay, so keep in mind, again, the gorillas are in range, right? They just had to jump up to pull the balloon down, right, to make it fair for the gorillas. The balloon could probably deal a decent amount of damage, right, if it throws the bombs at the heads of the gorillas. I'm going to say it could take out 3 gorillas. Expo has massive range. Those arrows do look pretty formidable. Given how much distraction the gorillas are going to receive, that Expo could realistically, I'm not even kidding, that Expo, I think, could probably take out 150 gorillas before the inevitable demise. So we need, let's see, 427. So just off the Expo alone, we need 150 gorillas. 3 musketeers are probably taking out 60 gorillas. Yeah, that'd be massive. Now, the princess has massive range, and she shoots multiple flaming arrows that could probably insta-kill a gorilla if it pierces its skull correctly. Because keep in mind, she has a huge arch, right? And the gravitational acceleration will deal more damage. Given her range, I'm going to say she takes out 40 gorillas with that. Furnace would just keep spawning fire spirits, but he is a ranged unit, but the Furnace kind of has to be a little bit close, even though it's a ranged unit. So I'm going to say it might take out, like, 2 units. Sparky could take out, like, 2 to 3 gorillas in one shot, and it is a ranged unit. So I'm going to say Sparky, before the gorillas just rush it, Sparky is going to be able to take out 12 gorillas. Executioner has a good amount of range. Again, realistically, I don't know how good the axe would be against a huge gorilla that has a lot of health. I'll give the executioner the benefit of the doubt and say that whenever the executioner throws it, it's able to pierce the neck of a gorilla, but it might not be able to go through the gorilla and hit the next one. I don't know. I'll say the executioner could kill like 6 gorillas. I think. All right. Flying Machine has a lot of range. Flying Machine can probably take out 30 gorillas. Before they eventually swarm it. Actually, no. I'm gonna add another 20 to that. Realistically, that Flying Machine can probably take out like 50 gorillas. Just with how much range it has, right? If it's basically one shot, one kill, pew, 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 with all the distraction. Cannon cart has less range than a cannon, I believe. And it can't really be placed all the way in the back since it has to attack. So maybe it takes out like 3 gorillas, and then that's it. Hunter has range. But keep in mind, it's a shotgun, so he has to be close to actually, like, one-shot a gorilla. Maybe it takes out, like, 3 before they swarm him. Magic Archer. Okay, so Magic Archer is a special case, because if his arrows pierce through the skulls of the gorillas and stuff, and immediately kill a gorilla on sight, on impact, and then it pierces through, that Magic Archer could get some really lucky shots. I'm going to give the Magic Archer the Expo treatment and say that with how distracted the gorillas are, that Magic Archer is taking out 200 gorillas. Again, I gotta be generous here. Firecracker could probably take out 10 gorillas before the inevitable demise. The rockets are definitely a one-shot, one-kill. The shrapnel might also deal massive damage, but she does have a pretty long recharge time. Archer Queen is probably taking out about 40 gorillas. Especially if she uses her ability. Little Prince, if Little Prince just stands there and builds up the charge, Little Prince is probably taking out about 70 gorillas, given how fast he can shoot those things. Then he can also summon the Guardian for extra distraction. Now, the Tower Troop Princess, right, on the ground, she doesn't have the flaming arrows and can't shoot multiple like the regular princess, but she could still probably take out a good 10 gorillas. And then the Cannoneer just wields a cannon. I forgot how many I said the regular cannon would deal. So I'm going to say that the Cannoneer could probably take out like 15. Yeah. 40, 48. All right. So, given my whole analysis, I'd say that it would take anywhere from, actually, let's make this a nice round number. Because again, you can't really gauge it, but given my analysis, right, I believe that it would take anywhere between 945 to 1,000 gorillas to successfully beat every single card in Clash Royale if they were in a coliseum with a roof and all of them were clashing at the same time, right? So you could put the cards anywhere you want, right? You could put all the range troops in the back, all the melee units in the front. But I truly believe that after 945 gorillas, very angry, they're all male silverbacks, right, that can crush bone, 2,500 pounds of force. After 945 gorillas, at least, those cards, there's not going to be a single card left. I could be completely wrong, right? I thought this was a fun video to make. So if you believe that I am wrong, right, if you guys have differing opinions, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Because I truly love to hear your guys' opinions. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it would truly help me out a lot. And I really love the support you guys are giving me. You guys are absolutely amazing. And yeah, if you all enjoyed this video, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Even if you didn't enjoy this video, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.